Hey, it's Christy Friesen here. Welcome to my studio. I want to show you something that I'm really kind of excited about. A piece of plastic. Nice, clear plastic. Why would that be exciting? Well, this, which I'm calling ThermaClear, is exciting because it is a stiff but heat manipulatable clear plastic that works really well with polymer clay. I'm sure you'll find other uses for it in the materials that you use, but since I tend to use a lot of polymer, I'm always looking for ways to add clarity. Resin's fabulous, mica sheets are terrific. There's a lot of good things, but wonderful thing about this, it's easily manipulated with your heat gun. It can go in clay, over clay. It can form around things. It can be tinted. It's kind of cool. And what it does is it gives you the ability to just add this fun little clarity here quickly, easily, and in ways that would be quite difficult with other clear medium. So I thought maybe I'd have you come look over my shoulder. I'm going to show you a couple little tricks, whet your appetite, and see if you get as excited about this as I am. All right, come on, take a look. We're going to play with this thermoplastic, and you can see how nice and flexible and what a good weight that is. And when it's all done on a piece, it is very strong. It's not going to break. It's not brittle. It can even stand up on its own. So perfect for sculptural work and jewelry work. You're going to love it. So what I have is I just have this funky little weirdo pod. You can stick it into a plant and give it a little Dr. Seuss effect. And I thought, well, what if we put another set of petals around here that are clear? Sound like fun? So I just cut this with scissors. It's very easy to cut, and I'll show you that in a minute. And I made a little band because the plastic doesn't stick permanently to polymer, or most things. It's a plastic. It doesn't really stick. But I'm going to wind it around itself. It sticks to itself. So I'm going to give this a collar, and then our petals can go on there. All right? So let's give that a try. So you can see that I can pick it up quite quickly once it's done. Now it cools down pretty much, but if I can get that first bit started, I can come back, and I'm using my stainless steel tools to hold on to it. So now I can get it hot and keep playing with it. And this isn't too hot for the polymer if I pay attention. I'm going to pull that nice and tight so I can get a good little collar around there. It stretches and manipulates as it's hot. If it's too hot for you to handle with your fingers, then use a tool. Pliers work great. Work somewhat quickly. Okay, so I've got this nice collar around here. I'm going to give it another hit with the heat gun just to get it all melted on. You can tell as you play with it, it gets very soft, and that's when it's manipulatable, but it cools rather quickly. And you can touch it with your hands if you have a not too heat-sensitive hands. Now, take a look at what we've got there. Can you see that I've got a nice clear collar all the way around? Now, like I said, it's not permanent onto the clay, but it is on itself, and I've grabbed it on there rather quickly. So now I can start putting the other petals on there and see where that takes us. Okay, so here are some of the flower petals, and I want you to see just how easy this is to cut. I'm just using a nice pair of scissors, nothing fancy, and you see I can just cut the shapes that I want real easily. Save all the bits and pieces, because you can use every little bit and piece, even if it's been heated in other little things. You can have little windows in your polymer and put little blobs in there. So I'm sure you'll come up with something clever. All right, so now I have petals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the end of the petal hot, and then I'm going to just clump it on there. Once I've got them all on, then I can manipulate them with hands and fingers, okay? So back to the noisy gun. And this is just a regular heat gun, one of the cheapies that are usually under 20 bucks. Okay, so that's just enough to grab it. Now I'm going to heat it some more to make it really stay. Now you notice that it's sort of sticking there to polymer, but it doesn't have to stay there. And see, it's all gotten a little flexible here, so you can see how fun that will be to manipulate it. Once that's cooled, I'll pull it right off that polymer because, like I said, it's on there but not permanently. Now it takes a little bit to cool, so you have to kind of play with it. I'll make it all fun and dancing down here at the bottom, and then later on I can tweak that top. I can even get the heat in there to bevel the edges a bit so that they're not a harsh cut. But you see what we've got going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go play with a few of these. We'll come together for the last one so you can kind of see the final on there, and then we'll throw some mica powders on it. So let me get this a little closer and see if you can see it. There we go. Sweet. Now see, this is starting to firm up, still a little residually warm. The more you play with it, by the way, the milkier it gets, so you want to keep your touching to a minimum. It's got a lot of flexibility, but if you keep playing with it, it's going to get milky. All right, I'm going to play a bit. We'll rejoin after I've put a few more petals on. All right, so you can see all of the little petals are on. Now, I've used a lot of heat to make sure they're all attached here, but I haven't finished manipulating them here yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them warm. Then I'm going to put a little bit of mica powder on there because the mica powder sort of melts into the plastic, and it's a way of tinting it but still keeping it nice and transparent, which is fun. And then I'll start manipulating those with fingers and tools, okay? Okay, that's just warm enough to get it sticky. And now I'm going to do my mica powders. Chalk powders and stuff work well too, but I really love how mica powders look. So I'm going to just get some of that in there. You can see what I'm doing there? Now it's not going to stick to it right yet, but as I get it heated, it will. So you see how I've kind of added that purpley stuff in there? I'm going to put a little on the outside too because, you know, I can. All right, there's nice little bits there. All right, let's get that out of the way. Let's clean this up before I get it blowing all over the place. You don't want to blow that in your face. Make sure you don't. And now I'm going to get this on. Okay, you can see how they're all starting to slump. That means now I can start manipulating. Remember gravity. You can stretch and play. Let me play a little bit more with this one. I like to keep looking at it from all the angles. So you can get quite a sophisticated look there. It's not just like clumps of plastic. Look at how much flow and give there is to all of those. Isn't that nice? Can you see what we've got going on here? And this now is, there's still some excess on the surface, but the heat has made a lot of that stay in there. So when it's all done, I will buff off excess and the rest of it is embedded in. All right, so now you can do a couple of different things. To make this look prettier around here, I can wrap some more plastic on it, or I can take tiny little bits, or I can create like little leaf, like a calyx or something. For funsies, I'm just going to take a long piece and wrap it below there so I have a little bit of transition. After that, I'll let your imagination go crazy and see where it takes you. As you can tell, I'm just working on a glazed tile, nothing fancy. You don't need any heat brick or anything like that. Glazed tile will work just fine. Ceramic tile, glass would be fine too. Okay, so I've got it started there, and I'll do the same thing as I did before, just heat this up and wrap it around. One thing that I've been playing with too is using a soldering iron to press in lines and things in the center of the petals. That works real well too. Or soldering iron. I think I said soldering gun. I don't know that that's a thing. Soldering iron, though, is what I meant. All right, so now I've just added a little bit more clarity here. We've got our fun stuff there. And I mentioned to you that you can make those edges more rounded. I just wanted to show you that real quick. I'm just going to get right on the tip there. And you can see as it starts to melt, it starts to round as well. And of course, then you can make it as fun as you wish. So isn't that kind of exciting? Look at what you get. You get manipulatable plastic that when it's all done, it's really firm. I mean, this is a little bouncy here, but when it's all done, it's just as strong as this stuff right here. You can see this is the same. It's not going anywhere. I can't do anything to it. It's on. So that's what happens here. So you add fun bits of clear that are at your discretion on how they're going to go. You get tired of that look, you get back in the heat and you make it something else. All right, so I hope I have whet your appetite.